Hello YouTube, what is up? It's me, Rahul, and today we're doing a video that is long overdue, something I forgot to do, which is a Brilliant Stars buy list. It kind of slipped my mind with everything going on with PTCG Live and a lot of news. That's totally my bad. I'm really sorry, guys. So today we're going to talk about the cards that I bought from Brilliant Stars and what I think is purchasable / playable. I know we didn't do a full set review, I guess, but I've talked about the cards I believe are good as we've been going. If you guys are buying cards, there is a link in the description below that will lead you to my TCG Player affiliate link, which is completely free of charge for you guys to click on, and it will help me and the channel out a little bit. I don't know exactly how, but it will help me. But without further ado, I will not have my webcam on for this, but we will talk about the cards. I don't have any fancy PowerPoint or anything prepared, but here is what how we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna go through the scans. I'm going to say exactly the card and the number. So if you guys want just like a quick buy list, sorry, you're gonna have to stick through the video. I really apologize. I didn't have the time to make like a PowerPoint or something. Work has been super busy. So I think if you're a believer in Torterra with the Evo Press ability, I would invest in this, and it is probably a fun deck, and it probably has potential, and you would probably pick up a 4/4/4 line because this Grottle is very strong as well with the Sun-Drenched Shell. I did not pick this up myself because I don't believe that there's a potential for Torterra, or I would be putting time into it, but it is fun to invest in. I picked up 4 copies of Burme because I do believe War Madam is probably a good deck or has some capacity to be played. So I picked up 4 copies of Burme, 2 copies of this War Madam. I don't think I'll ever need to play more than 1 really in a deck, but if a situation occurs where I need to play 2, I'd rather have the 2 on hand than having to play 1. I also picked up a 1/1 line of Shaman Vstar. I did not feel like you would need more than a 1/1 line of Shaman Vstar in any given deck with the Revenge Blast attack, something that you can easily slot into an Rcsv Vstar deck. Also just use Energy Switch to power up in 1 turn with combo plays, and I mean Star Bloom is kind of bad, so like this Vstar power is just something you'll never use in a game, but Revenge Blast is an attack you can use to clean up a game out of nowhere, so I picked up a 1/1 line. Now I picked up 4 copies of Zarud V because it was like $1, I believe. And so if the pricing is still the same, where like Zarud V and some of these cards are still like around $1, or their bulk pricing, I would pick this up. At the moment, Charizard V and Charizard Vstar were both expensive, so I did not pick any up for myself personally, but I do believe that if I was going to play this deck, I would pick up a 3/2 line moving forward, maybe a 4/2 line, so which means 4 Charizard Vs and 2 Charizard Vstars moving forward. I did not pick up any because I did not need them for the immediate future, I believe, but that is something that I will probably put into my buy list by card down the line. I picked up 2 copies of Moltres because I don't believe a deck will really need more than 2 copies of Moltres. And if I have 2 and I need a third, it's much easier to find a third than if I have 1 and need to find 3. So I picked up 2 copies of this Inferno Wings attacker to slot into my Firebox style decks with Magma Basin. I picked up 4 copies of NTV because I do believe that this attacker is pretty strong with the Burning Rondo and Fleet-Footed ability, so I thought this would be kind of good. And I believe this is also one of the $1.50 Vs, so it's pretty cheap across the board to pick these up as a 4 of. Made it a lot easier. I did not pick up Simisears. I did not pick up Kinglers. This guy's adorable, but I'm not going to pick him up. And then let's walk into the water types. I did pick up 3 copies of Float Soul with the Floatify, so I picked up some Float Weasels as well, and 3 copies of Float Souls. There is a combination argument for a control deck to be prevalent in the future. And while this isn't uncommon and it probably won't spike in price at any given point, I picked them up because I do know that my testing partners like to, try control and put some effort into it. So I wanted to be prepared now than sorry. I picked up 2 copies of Lumineon V. This is probably the single most important purchase you can make in this set. Lumineon V with Luminous Sign is probably going to become a 1 of in almost every deck possible. Because it's just a beacon of consistency, and some decks might even play 2. So I picked up 2 just for that sole purpose. I picked up 2 copies of Manafee as well. Again, I pick up an extra copy of cards that I think I might play only 1 of, but a potential second would be pretty good. So Manafee I picked up 2 of just in case, but you only really need 1, I think, ever in a deck because you play Recovery usually, and that'll kind of fuel how that works. I picked up 1 copy of Ice Cube with the Block Slider attack 40 to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each Fusion Strike energy attached to all of your Pokemon, which maxes at 160. Which isn't great, to be honest, but I've been seeing this tech float around pretty frequently in Japanese deck lists, so I wanted to just simply have a copy so I don't, better safe than sorry type of deal. I picked up 4 copies of Raichu V. I think this card is going to be a deck by itself at some point. It was one of the cheaper Vs as well, and I think that it's better to just have right now. I don't know how I'll build it, again, right now in the immediate like future, but it was cheap, so I picked it up. Same with Raikou. I think Raikou is similar to Entei, where it's super cheap and it kind of is a self-fulfilling card, so I decided maybe it's just fine to pick it up at the moment. I picked up 4 copies of Pachirisu because I feel like Wind Up Thunder is a fun deck, and with Haunch Crow it could be really, really good. And it's also an uncommon, so it's not like expensive by any means to pick up, so I picked up 4 copies of that right there. Now moving forward, I did not pick up any of these cards. I believe I picked up a 3-2 Whimsicott line. No, I picked up a 2-2 line. I picked up a 2-2 Whimsicott line because I felt like Whimsicott is not going to be an attacker on its own, even though it's got this really cool Trick Wind attack and the Fluffball Star Vstar power. It'll probably slot into something like Shadow Rider Calyrex or, you know, an Arceus like Psychic Box style deck. So I decided that a 2-2 line is probably all I'm ever going to need of this Whimsicott Vstar. I did not pick up any Mimikyu, despite the potential there with ominous numbers, but I decided against it. I picked up 2 copies of this Wormadam as well. This is probably the most important one because Fighting Weakness is so prevalent in this current format with the mentioned Anger attack. So another 2 copies of Wormadam to kind of go along. This is something I debated picking up this Lucario because it's a self-fulfilling deck, but I decided against it because I don't feel like with no League Cups, there's no reason for me to invest in playing a funny deck. I picked up 4 copies of Haunch Crow to go in tandem with my Pachirisu with the Boss's Pockets to have 4 tools attached to it. It was also a very cheap V, so if you can find something that's like $1, again, like you don't have to buy them necessarily, but I picked them up because it was $1, and it made a lot of sense for me to do so. No Aggron, no more Pekko. I picked up 2 Zamazenta Vs with the Regal Stance ability because I believe that this card can slot into any of these Arceus 2 prize decks super easily, and going into any deck that plays Galarian Moltres V also makes it really good to kind of, if you go first, you can just set up the Zamazenta V plus the Moltres, get an attachment onto Moltres or something where you want it like an Arceus, and then all of a sudden pitch your whole hand, draw 5 new cards. It basically acts as a free reset on your hand if it's not good, and then Revenge Blast with a deck that already plays Double Turbo and maybe Aurora Energies becomes really, really easy to just kind of do. The damage is not as high as something like Shaman, obviously, but I think the ability is really cool, and I thought there is some potential there for this card to exist. I also picked up 3 copies of Flygon V. Frank Persick and Michael Slutsky played this really cool Arceus Flygon deck, and I knew about it the morning of when they locked in their list. So I thought this card might have potential, and it was also one of those $V Pokemon. It might have gone up since then because of Frank and Michael's success. So anytime a Pokemon card does well at a tournament, like a $V, I'll probably shoot up to $1.50 or $2, which is not significant in terms of you are buying, but think about it from a seller's perspective where now their initial investment of $1 Flygon has now doubled in price, which is a pretty nuts investment if you ask me. And so with the Draconic Impulse attack is pretty strong, and it can slot into Arceus decks, and it's pretty cool. So I picked up 3 copies of this myself. Nothing else here. The creme de la creme of this set, Rcsv and Rcsv Vstar. I picked up 4 Rcsv with the Trinity Charge basic ability because I feel like if you're going to play this card, you're probably going to play 4 or 3 in every deck. And then you're probably never playing more than 3 Rcsv Stars, so I picked up 3. And if I need to borrow a 4th, I can borrow a 4th. This is probably the most expensive card to pick up in the set. Probably getting close to $30 a copy. So if this is not something you can afford or something you don't want to play with, you don't have to. But this is probably one of the best cards in the set and can slot into any deck. Now, also with that being said, this B-Barrel line, I picked up a 3-3 line of this B-Barrel line with the Industrious Incisors ability because I feel like this can also slot into pretty much any deck. The ability is very good. The typing is very good. It's a good card. Now, when it comes to trainers, I usually try to pick up 4 copies of everything, but I'll tell you the ones that I did not pick up. I did not pick up Barry. I did not pick up Blunder Policy. I feel like both those cards are not going to be played. I did not pick up Cafe Master. Also, I feel like that's way too niche. I did not pick up the Gloves. I feel like there's just better cards that do the same thing Gloves do, like Choice Belt now. I did not pick up Friends and Galar. It's just a better Hop, I guess. It's just all the people that draw 3 cards except for Marnie, I guess. And actually, it's just Hop. It's just Hop that draws 2 cards. I did not pick up 4 Freshwater Set because I already have them. I did not pick up 4 of this Hunting Gloves. I did not pick up the Pod Helmets, and I did not pick up the Yell's Cheer, I believe. And that's kind of what I picked up from this set. There are cards in Trainer Gallery as well, and if you're someone who likes character arts, it feels like a lot of these cards are super cheap. Like, I believe this like Urshifu here is like $7 or $8 maybe, which is comparatively nothing to like what character raise normally would be or something like that. So that is my buy list. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave a like and subscribe down below. I'm sorry this is a little bit more impromptu than normal. I will have it for Astro Radiance. I'll have a more detailed video for sure. But thank you guys for watching, and remember to buy your Arceus. Salt Lake City, Brisbane, and Liverpool are coming up in less than, a week and a half. So I'm really sorry for how delayed this video is, but I'm better to have this out now than never. So sorry about that, guys. Thank you so much.